Welcome to another Startup Corner podcast where I have interesting talks with startup founders and entrepreneurs from the SaaS ecosphere. Today I'm chatting up with Gorka, the one and only. He is one of the brains behind Ronin Pixel, the brilliant app for charts and reporting that integrates with Jira and Confluence. Thanks for talking to me today, Gorka.
Thank you for inviting me, Vito. It's really nice to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. So let's get right into it. We're here to discuss entrepreneurship stuff. So first question that I want to ask you is, let's start with your background. How did you become passionate about digital products?
Well, my background is in computer science. When I did the degree, and then after that, I went for 1 year, something like that, to Edinburgh, to Scotland. I got a grant. I went there to do market research about home automation, domotics. And then after 1 year there, I got an offer from the university to do a PhD in web information systems. So I came back and I did that and keep on learning. And in that moment is when I started in doing research in corporate wikis. So that's why my path links to the Atlassian ecosystem. And during that time, I liked doing research, but always felt like I was not sure if those ideas, when we created for research papers, proof of concepts, if those ideas were really appealing for companies, right? And that's why as soon as I finished, I started in the entrepreneurship world. Right? Okay, let's try to not only have great ideas and develop those ideas, but also to make those ideas valuable for real companies. And that's how I created my first startup, Knobi. And then we created our first 3 plugins for Confluence in that moment.
Right, interesting. Okay, so you have a very rich background starting up. Going directly to your current business, Ronin Pixel, how did you get started, and what's the story with your co-founders? How did you guys get together for this Ronin Pixel business?
In Knobi, we were 2 people, and after 1 year, we learned a lot. We developed apps also for external companies. But we didn't really know about the ecosystem, about creating companies. And we had the opportunity to join Comalatech, which is one of the biggest top vendors with Comala Workflows, Comala Document Management now. And we were acquired, and I worked there for more than 4 years as the product lead. And there is where I met Inigo, who was the technical lead for the cloud team, and Javier. Javi was in the server and data center technical team, and we get together really, really well. And after a while, I was there more than 4 years. Our paths split, and Javi and me, we worked together in our previous company, which was Manfred, a recruiting company, technical recruiting. We were building a platform. And we were also, again, working together. But the 3 of us wanted to come back to the ecosystem, because the ecosystem, is different from other ecosystems. Competitors are like soft competitors where you even collaborate with them. Like, we usually have these meetings and we share our knowledge. And we really miss that. And Inigo was also in another company doing blockchain technology, and we discussed and we said, hey, let's come back to the ecosystem. And that's how we thought of creating a new company, and we created Ronin Pixels, and we started to develop Dashboard Hub, our main app, Jira, and for Confluence. And that's how we last year, we have 1.5 years with the company, we created Ronin Pixels. That's a short story.
I think that's the right way to go. I feel that the only co-founder partner that really actually worked for me came from a previous work environment, and I feel that that's a really powerful way to collaborate with others, because you know those people, you've worked with them previously, and you kind of know how the dynamics will work outside the work environment, outside the, you know, after the job, and now into your own business and such. And I think
Right.
for you, it sounds like you've had the similar path to Ronin Pixels with your co-founders. We had the similar path as well. I don't know, maybe there are ways where you can make a partnership for a startup work where you've never worked with your co-founders before, and you don't really know how it works, but I think it would require a lot of upfront
Yeah, it's gonna be more
validation.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And also you had to complement. Yeah, and in our case, Javi and Inigo in the technical part, because they don't let me develop anymore. So they are in the technical part in cloud and data center, and
Yeah.
I'm in the product part and in the business part. Yeah, so we complement really well.
that's really good. That's important. You have to have a spread of skill set in order to make something succeed
Right.
with the business. So you have an interesting and creative brand with Ronin Pixels. How did you come up with it?
Yeah, I really like the Japanese culture, and Ronin, the combination of Ronin Pixels. Ronin refers to those Japanese warriors that follow the Bushido code, but they didn't have a master anymore, right? Because was dead in battle or any other reasons. And the reference we do there is that we were the ones leading the way in this new adventure, right? We didn't have, or we don't have those masters. And Pixel refers and is like a wink to our how we started, right? With all these video games, and then because we all started with video games, with those adventures like Monkey Island and similar. And also it refers to one pixel is the minimum unit for digital images, but a pixel on its own is nothing, right? You need many pixels to generate amazing results, and that refers to the team behind Ronin Pixels, right? That on our own we may be good, but we cannot get amazing results, and together we do. That's how we came up to Ronin Pixels. Yeah.
That's genius around the pixel, I think, as well. I don't know much about Japanese culture, so I'll leave that to them. I'm gonna touch on the pixel stuff. It's actually quite interesting, and you can probably apply that metaphor to your product as well, right? A piece of data, one piece of data does not tell you much, but when you aggregate data together into reports and such, then you see the big picture. It's the same thing as with pixels, right? One pixel would show you nothing, but put multiple pixels on the page and you get an actual picture.
In a dashboard, as you say, you may have information from one project or in a project, or in an issue, or in a I don't know, in an SLA, you got a number that says that you reached that SLA, but you really need more information because you don't work on your own in a team or in a company, right? You need information from many different places. Moving that to our app, it means you don't get information just from Jira, right? You work with Jira, you work with Asana, you work with Confluence, with Bitbucket, Obsidian Insight. There are dozens of products that you use, and you really need to have all the information, all the metrics, all this data in a single place to have, like you said, right? The global picture of, I don't know, in your case, the business, for me, the product part of the whole portfolio of the company. So
yeah, the tool is super impressive. How are you finding progress so far, thinking that is a competitive space, this reporting in the Atlassians? And we were talking about this before starting.
Yeah, is if you like to build products, it's super amazing to be there because you see competitors that they are really doing things really well, and we really like that. On the other side, from the business perspective, you would like not to have them, but that's also a really good way for us to grow and for customers to have every day a better tool, right? And we are seeing super interesting use cases that initially we didn't really know that we could apply to that. We imagine, oh, maybe it is interested for this type of customers. For example, we got many customers up that in Jira Service Management, you cannot share reports with them. You need to give access to an agent to create the report and everything. And there are many companies that are using Jira Service Management to provide premium support. Premium support requires, hey, this is your SLA, we are meeting all the SLAs that you are paying for that. And with the first feature that we released was the, hey, one click and you got a URL to access this data, one dashboard without accessing to Jira. So we are funding everyday new use cases, and that's awesome, right? Because it's like, oh, I thought of this, but I never thought of that. And we are talking to different customers. We are going to release a few success stories, and it's like magic, right? I created something that, hey, is saving this person, this specific person with name that I'm talking to her, and is saving a lot of headaches, no? And that's the nice part of building products. Is the part I like, right?
Yes, I think we share that. We share that quite a lot. Nothing beats just seeing the end result and being able to share and go back to the customer and say, hey, there you go, you asked for this, there you go. So let's jump to the burning topic, which was the fact that you've recently been acquired by Appfire. Tell me a bit about the factors the factors that contributed to taking the decision to partner with them.
Yeah, I met Randall probably the first year I started in the ecosystem, and then Matt later, and we had we've been having this relationship through all these years. And when I started, well, not when I started, after a few months, we had a chat, and he told me the project, what's his vision, and you know, Randall is super optimistic, he's full of energy, and when you talk to him, it's like, oh, I don't know, but I want to be there, I don't know why. And we really, and this is true, we didn't want to sell it because it was too soon. We had money, we had time, but there are several factors. For example, the ecosystem is a really difficult place to compete. Every day is getting worse. If you see Appfire, without knowing anything, you can see how many vendors, founders there are. And you say, hey, why is that? Why so many founders that you are a founder? You know that you love your child, right? Your baby, your company, your product. Why they are going there? And then you start to talk to them, or when I started to talk to them, you could see that it's full of talent. It's amazing, the talent that you can find within Appfire. If you keep on digging and you see their core values, the culture is amazing, and that aligns with our core values. We were super new, but we had something very clear in mind that our company, like this quote that is attributed to Henry Ford, a company that does nothing but money is a poor company, and we didn't want to be a poor company, right? In that sense, to give back to the community, and they are putting that in a new level, right? What they are doing is huge. They are in the pledge 1 from the very beginning, not with 2, but with the 4 points, which is they are giving 1% of equity, 1% of their time of their employees, the product, and the profit. And for us, we're like, hey, this is not just something that is put on a page and, hey, this is our core value. No, you leave that within Appfire. Another point is financial stability. That's right. If you really like product and you really like to build things, well, the best way is to have financial stability. Don't worry about having to pay every month the wages, right? Which is pressure, and you have to discuss with banks. So there are many things that is okay. Now I can work in what I really like, and that helps to speed up your product vision. Which again, we go back to the first part. Is I like to do product where I'm gonna be better than here, and that together with the people that we had our first contacts in Appfire, with George, with Bob, with Randall, it's like, hey, I don't know what you're doing the first time, no? But I want to be with you. So I want to be with you. Let's talk this because yeah. And then and of course, it's not about Gorka. It's about three partners. The three of us were completely in sync. So yeah. So it's not that, like, okay, I was convinced because I knew Randall. No, it's not that, right? Yeah. And those are the reasons.
So basically, all three of you got mesmerized by Appfire's culture and their mission and the benefits that a partnership with Appfire brings. And I don't blame you. I think they're a brilliant company, and I think it shows. With, like you said, if they weren't, they wouldn't have been able to attract so much talent and so many founders. Right. It's usually hard to get, to let go of let's say the concept of being an entrepreneur and being on your own 2 feet, right? So
the feeling of ownership, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But I have a sense that you've not lost that since joining Appfire, anyways.
One of the things that we now are doing really good, I said they because I'm thinking of that moment, when we decided, is that they have a process in that they really let you keep on following your vision, your dream, right? Mm-hmm. Of course, now there is a higher strategy, which completely makes sense and aligns with yours. But because they don't acquire a company because, hey, let's acquire this company, there is a strategy behind that aligns with the global strategy. So when you are in that curve, in that mechanism, right, in that engine, is because you are a part of that. So you can keep on doing your job while keeping the strategy flow, right, from the top parts to all the elements of that engine, following with the metaphor.
Yeah, and I don't think Randall and George would actually acquire a company that doesn't fit the company's the business strategy doesn't fit with their strategy fundamentally. So yeah, I think it helps a lot with also not introducing friction and so on. And how's it going so far with the merge? Give me a sense a bit and tell me the one thing that you didn't expected that kind of like happened during this merge. And again, in reasonable let's say in reasonable scope, okay? I'm not gonna ask you all the trade secrets, okay?
No, but I have to say that it's been a wild ride, and there are really good surprises, and also this adds to that. Is the first time I'm in a big company. We are 500 people now, and there are really good things about that. First, there are processes. If you need anything, you just have to create a ticket and done. So from buying equipment, a computer, to doing a trip, and I had never seen that because I always been in smaller companies. And other thing is that the onboarding is not gonna say perfect, but it's super well defined. So first day you get a lot of things. You get a buddy, you get a manager. You start building step by step your goals. So that's awesome. Again, going back to my part, the part I like the most, the product side and the product engineer part. There are teams that are experts, for example, in security. We need to go to the bug bounty program. We do a internal security test. We need to go for data center. We release data center while being with them. Hey, here are the instances: Bitbucket, data, Confluence, Jira, app. So you don't have to worry about that, right? There are many things that for me is like, oh, perfect. I love this, right? Yeah. And yeah, so the merge is been awesome. Yeah.
That's really cool to hear. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that a partnership like this can bring is the resources to help you keep focus. Because, I know others know as well that, especially in the Atlassian ecosystem, there's so many moving parts and so many requirements and demands here and there to do this, and you need to align to this, to that security program, that's this other thing, and so on.
Right.
And you always need to keep up with absolutely everything.
Right.
It's hard when when you're on your own. So no, I appreciate that. Now you have a very rich history. You started your own company previously, you got acquired previously, you've been through several roles, redefining things, and then you landed on Ronin Pixels as well. Now you got acquired as well. I'm really curious, from your entire, let's say, history as a founder, give me one moment that was amongst the proudest moments as a founder.
Okay. I got several, but one
I can imagine.
Yeah, but for example, well, when I finished the PhD, I had a few offers to work to do postdocs in one European university, also in Spain. And you can imagine my parents, right? Oh, go there. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna build a company. And they were like, oh God, why? And when I told them that my company was gonna be acquired, I felt their happiness, and that's probably one of the proudest moments, because with my first company, they gave me the money they could. My grandma, she also gave me money. At that moment, my wife. So everyone was like, okay, we're gonna support you. Don't worry. Let's see what happens, right? Because startups, most of them, they just fail, and that's the rule, right?
Yeah.
And when I told them, hey, when well, I'm gonna be acquired. That moment, right? And there are other moments during this career, for example, when I signed the first contract for my first employee, right? So, hey, finally I can give an employee to someone, right? And it's like, oh, I'm super proud of this, right? And other moments when other, for example, when we have an intern that we help this person during the initial steps of his career, and then we see how this person has grown. It's like, oh, so I helped that person, right? And probably those moments.
That's very important. I can understand how proud of a moment can be when you can go to your parents and say, hey, I actually made it, and thank you for your support, and believing in me and trusting in me. So that's a 100% pure joy and proud moment. And now,
and also when they see this interview, they won't understand a word, but they are gonna say, hey, my son is there somewhere in a website in a video. So those moments they also like, right?
Mm-hmm. And what is the one thing you wish you have done differently or hasn't worked well, but say you've learned from it?
The first time, well, in Kinoi, I did many things wrong, many, and
We
for
all
example,
do.
yeah, and but I had two ideas that I thought could be interesting, right, to develop, and one was like simple, and I could learn from the ecosystem because I have never developed a plugin for Confluence, and the other was more complex, but I really thought that was gonna have like a larger market. And I started with the easy one. I said, okay, I'm gonna learn how the framework works, and then I'm gonna do the second one. And I did that, but surprise, I ran out of money when I finished that one. And then what I had to do, develop the second one, not because I didn't have money, so I had to do plugins for external companies, custom developments. And since I was doing custom developments, I couldn't do my great idea. So that was like a circle that I couldn't go out. And they were like, okay, I had to start with the better idea. No? But yeah, if I knew that I didn't know, right?
Yeah, true. That's one of the things that preparing and training for too long with can be at the detriment, especially if you're on a tight budget with your startup and such. So okay, that makes sense. And moving on to an advice for our audience. I have people that are watching that are usually early startups or wanting to start. What advice would you give early founders, be it starting a digital product outside Atlassian ecosystem, or even say new Atlassian partner founders?
Well, for outside the ecosystem, I would say not on the technical or product side. I would say talk to your close ones, get them ready, and get in sync with them, because it's gonna be a process. And for the ones that are starting in the ecosystem, I would say drop me a line. I'm happy to have a call with them. I mean, I can spend 30 minutes, 1 hour talking to them and sharing my experiences. And yeah, so when I started, I had some people that did that, and it was really useful to me.
Yeah, I agree. I've been doing quite a bit of that with new founders in the ecosystem, and the joy that you can give someone that's just starting and has that aha moment when you explain how to set up their their app listing properly, or how to do this or that. I think it's valuable, and it doesn't cost us anything, right? Like,
no. 1 hour, 1 day, that's it.
Yeah. We live in this, like you said, when you decided to come back to the Atlassian ecosystem, we live in this world where competitors are your competitors, but also your friends and people that help you understand things, and call it soft competitors.
Yeah.
New definition. There you go. Put it
you
in
have
the
to copyright
dictionary. Yeah, soft competitors. All right, cool. Thank you for that mention there.
It's a pleasure.
What's next? Before we go, what's next for you and Ronin Pixels? You must have a pretty exciting future as part of the Appfire family.
Yeah, one of the perks is that we get to hire new colleagues. So if anyone is interested, we are hiring. We are growing the team, and we are working on really nice integrations. And we are gonna work on more big picture, Tempo, probably Yexo. I heard that they got nice apps. We'll see. And yeah, and one of the things that we keep on doing is learning, because we are learning a lot and applying those all those lessons to our products. Because now, as you can imagine, we have a lot of reach to research with customers, with users. So we got a lot of things to do, and most important thing, we are gonna keep on having fun, because yeah, that's really important to keep us engaged, right?
Yeah, fun is the primary reason why we get into becoming founders and product people and such. Having fun and experimenting. Yeah, so if anyone's looking to join a brilliant team that's building the exciting products, I'll put a link to Ronin Pixel website so you can check it out. Thank you so much for joining me today, Gorka.
My pleasure.
Like always, every single time we have discussions, very insightful, very inspiring, and I'm looking forward. I'll monitor it. I'll watch you closely and see how things are evolving at Appfire. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Viru. Thank you.
Right. See you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye bye.